How's it going, Sneeples? High Seas is just around the corner. We just saw world premiere. Pre-release is upcoming weekend, and this set is shaping up to be the biggest set in Flesh and Blood's history. I've identified a trend from Rosetta, from the Hunted, compared to past sets, and if this set follows the trend, which I believe it will, things are about to change. Flesh and Blood is booming, and we don't want to be left behind. We don't want to sit back, relax, watch the set go past us. No, we want to lock in and identify when is the time to pick this up. I myself will be implementing a different strategy going into the High Seas release. Normally I would do things a little bit different. Some factors we have to look at for this set of why it's going to be so big and in demand and hype, and maybe the biggest set in Flesh and Blood history, is the hype around it. It's unbelievable compared to anything I've seen in the past, and I'll break that down in this video, as well as the supply sides of things. Supply is looking a little more shaky than normal. I don't know if you've seen anything on the internet talking about it, but we'll break that down as well. Let's just break down the demand. Why this set's gonna have such a high demand? What are the factors leading into this? Well, there's about three major ones. The first one I want to talk about is US Nationals. That is going to be on the official release weekend of High Seas. And in doing so, there's gonna be a lot of players trying to get their hands on all these High Sea cards so they can put them into their deck and hopefully win the national tournament. And kind of what I mean from any of that is, if Gravy, Puffin, Marlin, or even some of the expansion slot cards become desirable and hot cakes because they're the best in the meta, or they're like at least A tier, S tier, people are going to need to get their hands on them if they want to compete at the highest stakes possible. So there's going to be a huge demand coming from the US National Tournament and all tournaments around that time frame. We also then have all the other nationals which follow suit. So there's going to be a demand for a lot of product to be opened, singles to be sold, and people are going to want to get the set. And then the other major demand factor, which honestly might, I don't know if it'll have more demand or if it'll be on the same level, but it's huge, is Flesh and Blood is introducing new classes to the game. We get two of them, Pirate and Necromancer. First, let's break down the Necromancers. Necromancer has been the talk of the town for quite some time now, even though it has never been officially released, but people knew it was coming down the pipeline. Let me explain that to you. With this beautiful book right here, it kind of talks about some future classes which might arise. And let me tell you what, if we can get that to focus, Necromancer is in there. And quite frankly, I find that so exciting that Fab gave us a little sneak peeks of what we might see in the future. I know my friend Tana, ever since I told him about that in the lore book, he's been ecstatic to find Necromancer. Every other set release, he's asking, where is it? Where is it? Well, it is time for Necromancer. And there's a lot more people out there that have been looking for Necromancer since they got into the game. I don't blame them. Necromancers are awesome, coming from other games. We love the whole graveyard recursion idea. When Dynasty came out and Assassin was the new talk of the town, the new class that Flesh and Blood announced and had since Monarch, I believe, it was huge. All the Assassin staple cards were quite expensive. I myself had to shell out probably $20 to $30 per Majestic, and my Surgicals were $80, my Legendaries were 100 something. Everything was expensive because there's such a high demand for players to play the new class. We then have the Pirates, which we have to look at. Same song and dance. Very popular. I don't think it's nearly as popular as Necromancer, but people are excited for Pirates. And what's great about the Pirates is you got three options to play the Pirates. So if you really like Necromancer and you're like, Pirate's cool too, great. There's Pirate and Necromancer. But then there's Pirate Mechanologist and Pirate Ranger. And so coming from that, it's going to add another side of the demand, which is a little bit different compared to just a Necromancer. And that is, if there's like a solid good pirate card, I mean, think of the Conqueror of the High Seas, every pirate hero is probably going to want to play that. And so that's three different heroes divvying into that pirate pool, where compared to is just the one Necromancer pool trying to divvy in and get maybe just a Necromancer cards. Sure, if Necromancer is the hot deck of the format, one of the best ones, everyone's playing it, great. Most people are going to gravitate towards Necromancer, the Pirate Necromancer, of course. But if all three of these decks are very viable and very playable, or there's just a lot of demand for all three, which I believe there will be, all their meta shares are going to be diving into that pirate pool. So you might have a higher chance of more pirate demand than there would just be for one of these classes to be demanded for. If you want to play any of the new heroes from this set, no matter what, you're playing pirate. So that's going to bring in a lot of demand just for the pirate cards themselves. We also then have to talk about the implications of gold packs being in this product, especially having it in the booster box area. That's going to add a great sealed value to this product long term. These packs contain the hidden treasures as well as the legendaries and other fun marvels of this set. But the key word there is those hidden treasures. Since LSS and James White threw in those specialty cards, exceptionally rare to pull one. But the chances of ripping a cold foil Fable from WTR, Arcane Rising, is huge. That turns your box that was $115 to thousands. So, down the line, when this product ages and you have sealed boxes or cases with those gem packs in there, and say not all those gems have ever been found, there's going to be an added premium on the off chance that they open one from that set. That's going to add a huge collectability, and honestly, it's going to add some price to those boxes and sealed cases down the line, because people are going to want to have the chances to open those in the future. They'll reminisce about high seas, and then they might just hope that they hit big. So with that all being said, there's going to be a lot of hype, there's going to be a lot of demand for this set from a huge swath of different players. From the pro players wanting to play the best deck, the players that just identify with Necromancer or Pirates and they really just want to play it no matter what, wherever they're at. The people that want to collect and have those sealed boxes and cases because they identify that, yeah, these gold packs might be worth something one day because of the chances of opening these treasures. Then we have to talk about the supply. So far, online, I've seen a lot of stores talking that their supply allocations have been cut 20-30%. I've talked to some other store owners as well, and it's about the same song and dance. I mean, there's a few factors which could come into that and why that's the case. But if we're looking at past sets like the Hunted, I mean, Hunted's been really hard to get your hands on. It's a hot commodity. I mean, the cases, if you're able to pick those up for $440 when that set came out, now if you look on TCG Player, they're what, $550, $560, $600 I've even seen some sold for. That's astounding. Even Rosetta, those started creeping up as well because they've been harder to find and a huge demand. And so if we want to compare the set to the Hunted, from the hype level of the Hunted to the supply level of the Hunted, if the supply is anything like the same, and even if it has the same demand, we're going to be in the same boat. But I truly do believe the hype is going to be so much greater for the high seas than the Hunted. And if the supply is similar, that's more supply than demand. And it's going to be a hot commodity and it's going to be expensive. Even if you look at the pre-sale data from TCG Player and the sell-through rate of the high seas and where it's sitting, cases are like $550 to $600 selling right now. The boxes are doing well. Even the Gravy Bones starter deck or CC constructed deck, those are sitting about $90 to $100 of what they've sold for. There's a lot of people that want to get their hands on this product. What am I going to be doing differently from the past sets? Normally, I'd let the sets kind of ride out a little. There's always a lot of hype at first, and then they start to settle and go down. I mean, we've seen that in the past with prior sets. But this time, I don't think it's going to sell right away. I think it's just going to be popping. The demand is huge, and it's going to be hard to get our hands on these cases and boxes at first. So I'm going to be picking up all my product from the cases to the sealed boxes right away. There's no reason for me to sit around and wait for the boxes to either go up exponentially or the cases to go up. I want to just lock in on a price that I'm comfortable with. Just from looking at the past data from the sets that we've seen, the Hunted and Rosetta, these boxes just keep going up since release. So I'm not sitting around and waiting this time. And if boxes start to trend downwards, there's more supply hits to market, great. I can get my hands on even more of them if I see so fit. And if you're asking yourself, okay, you talked about cases, you talked about boxes, what about singles? That one is always a wild ride. We all know how pre-release prices are, and even world premiere prices now. I mean, heck, I saw legendaries going for $300 to $400 to $500 on Facebook this past weekend. Give it, they were the EA cold foils from those gold packs, but still a lot of money for a legendary. The new cards, when they're released from pre-release, they don't necessarily have a base market where they stand. And so people are going to throw up prices and see if anyone bites. And then from there, the following knife effect, supply will hit the market and they'll trickle down. Usually for release singles, waiting a few days to a week or two is always best due to the market's very volatile, especially at release. This time, it might even be more volatile due to how Nationals is so close and on release. All I can say is be very cautious when you're picking up those singles. So what are some of my final thoughts on all of this? I'm excited. I am so excited for High Seas to come out. Flesh and Blood LSS have been doing a great job with every set that has come out in the past year. I've been loving it. The game is growing. There's so many more stores than ever, so many more people than ever playing the game. And that's huge. That is wonderful. That's what we want to see with the game. We want it to grow, and it feels awesome. I mean, even my local game store has been having a lot of players lately. Our armories are great. And if we're going to be talking about game stores, I need to talk about my local game store, King Table Games. They are the ones sponsoring this video, and I'm so grateful to them for that. I will have their TCG store linked down below, so if you're looking to pick up singles for Flesh and Blood or any other card games, the link is there. As well as a link to their website, which has other products as well. They're the greatest store ever. I am so grateful to them. I love going there, playing games. Every Friday, it's Armory Day, we play, we have fun, and it's just truly a great place to be. If you're ever in Montana, if you're ever in Missoula, swing by to King's Table, play some games. It's awesome. I'm so grateful to them. Check them out. All the links will be down below. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. I am exceptionally excited for High Seas to come out, especially opening some of the product which I get my hands on. I will be making a video of me breaking down a master set of High Seas, opening some cases, putting them in my binders, and showing how I break down my master set. Because at the end of the day, I love sitting on product, but I also love having master sets for each set. There's something about that collectability part which is just a blast. Definitely stay tuned for that video. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. And I just appreciate y'all coming down to the dungeon today and listening to what I had to say. This is going to be a very exciting set. There's going to be great things to come from it. I also want to say I'm not a financial advisor, and I can't give you financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.